Chapter 1. A Minnow. Anyone who knew me as a child would have thought I had an idyllic childhood, and externally I did. My internal world was a different story. The second child of 4, I grew up in the upper-middle-class suburbia of Northern Virginia, on the outskirts of Washington, D.C., for the full run of elementary and middle school. I wore pleated plaid skirts to school in a conservative Christian world. Most of my school memories took place in the 10 classrooms lining the upper hallway of a Presbyterian church, a red-carpeted chapel room, down the ramp at the end of the hallway, and a big empty parking lot out back that the 20 of us filled with joyful sounds of double dutch, kickball, and hand-clap rhymes. Our brick house was a colonial style and stood stately and homey on the edge of a willow-lined cul-de-sac. On most days, a dozen or so neighborhood kids would join me and my brothers to race with our nets and fishing poles down to the ring of forest behind our cul-de-sac. Its green grass hills sloped down to a giant pond full of tadpoles, catfish, bullfrogs, and adventure. Summers consisted of lemonade stands, camping trips, Super Mario 3, and daily treks down to the community pool where we trained hard with our teammates to rise in our division and crush our local team rivals. I remember as a very young child of about 5 years old, sitting alone in the far back row of our big silver Astro van, overhearing my mom having a hushed conversation with her friend Elaine, who was in the front seat next to her. "I feel so devastated for Margaret," my mom whispered. "Gosh, the stress of dealing with 2 kids who would so blatantly disregard all the values they were raised with." "I know," Elaine replied. My mom went on. "Just incident after incident at the school for both of them, and now for her son to be kicked off the swim team for the alcohol issue? So sad. Let's take a minute now to pray for them." I listened in covert silence, and my little brain churned. I never want my mom to be disappointed in me like she is in those older kids. I thought for a minute, and then felt a light bulb go on. I know. I could actually guarantee that. I know myself, and I've never made a bad choice like that. I know right from wrong, and I can decide right here and now to just always choose the right thing and never choose the wrong thing. I was very pleased with my conclusion, completely unaware how this vow of perfectionism would wreak havoc on my inner world for decades to come. It was an open invitation to what I can only describe as a subtle white noise, an insidious cocktail of guilt, shame, condemnation, fear, and anxiety that slipped into my mind and started to slowly infiltrate my thoughts. This noise became my constant companion, yet proved as elusive as a minnow from my childhood pond, fleeing to the shadows when I tried to shine a light on the source of my inner unrest. To stay balanced, I took on the persona of the good and perfect kid, and became extremely skilled at holding up this mask. I had to. It's who I was. When I started doing bad things, I had to grip it even tighter to try to block out the noise. I can't remember exactly how old I was, maybe 7 or 8, when I was playing Barbies with my cousin, and something in me wondered, could I get away with stealing her Barbie hairdryer? It was a beautiful, hot pink, tiny plastic accessory, and I slipped it into my pocket when she was looking away, then pretended it had gone missing. I didn't know why I went through with it, but I did. I earnestly searched for it with her, and, of course, she never suspected a thing. That was the first bad thing I remember willfully choosing to do, and it ate me alive inside. I had stolen. I wasn't perfect anymore, and I had no way to process it. I found myself shoving the guilt down deep, and as I did, the noise grew louder ever so slightly. I knew a part of me was bad now, and I would just have to live with it, punish myself for it, and resolve to work even harder to maintain my perfect image, so that no one would ever suspect or find me out. This seemed to work, in a way. All throughout elementary school, I followed the rules at home to please my parents, observed the teachers, and studied the material carefully to always get A's at school, and was well liked by my many friends. I was able to forget about my bad side most of the time as the noise blended into the background. To my dismay, however, more bad things started to pile up. Lying to my mom, accidentally saying, "That sucks," on the playground, cheating on a test, and then writing fake secret admirer notes to a classmate. When I did something, the noise would surge up, and I would feel terrified someone would find out what I had done. Voices in my head would yell at me, a cacophony of accusations. "You are bad, and you know it. You can't go back and change what you did. It's done. They're going to find out. You're going to jail. You're going to die. You don't deserve to stop and relax and have fun. Just do better. You could have done better." The volume knob continued creeping up and up, despite my efforts to control it. I was a faithful churchgoer, of course. That was what good girls did, and it's what my family did anyway. If I had done fewer than 5 quiet times, prayer and Bible study, that week, my pulse would race during the part of my girls' small group at Sunday school, when we had to go around and share our number with each other. I had to do better. I would do better next week. I just had to try harder.